This is One on One. Jane Hanson is Executive Director of Partners for Women and Justice. Good to see you, Jane.
Nice to see you, Steve.
Jane, we've talked before about this very important topic, dealing with domestic violence. Let folks know what your organization does and why it's so important.
Well, it's a not-for-profit public interest law firm, and we provide free legal assistance to women who are experiencing domestic violence and are attempting to escape those situations. And it's important because without having a lawyer represent them in court, or without having a lawyer to advise them before they go into court on their own, they really don't know what the reliefs are that they can get under New Jersey law. And New Jersey has a very, very strong law against domestic violence.
Yeah, we partnered up and we met each other through the Russ and Angelica Berry Foundation.
Yes.
You won the Russ Berry Award for Making a Difference in 2009.
That's right.
And we recently, actually we were doing some coaching and training with folks who have won that award and others in the nonprofit community in terms of their leadership and communication skills, and we're featuring some of those folks here. And it's so fascinating to me because those awards for making a difference. What difference do you really feel that you and your colleagues are making for these women and their children who have suffered so much that most of us cannot even comprehend?
Yeah, the difference is peace and safety, physical safety.
Give us a for instance.
Well, we had a client who was pregnant and with twins, and the father of the children did not want her to have the children, and he set her up to be assaulted, and she was assaulted and was taken to the hospital, and it was actually here in Patterson. And
where we're taping?
Yeah.
What do you mean he set her up to be assaulted?
Asked her to go with him to a movie, and parked in an isolated section of the parking lot, and they were attacked, quote unquote, attacked. But she was the only one who was attacked, and viciously attacked. And it was clear from what was happening to her physically that they were attempting to abort the children. And they were not successful. She was in a coma for several days. And when she came out of the coma, the hospital personnel put her in touch with us, and we were able to get a restraining order against this individual for her. Her children were born healthy, but like clockwork, every year, the father files a motion for a reduction in child support and for custody.
And your organization, I mean, given the emotional, the psychological, the so many unimaginable areas where these women, these children suffer, ways in which they suffer, talk to folks about the legal challenges and battles and difficulties they face and how you help them. Because I immediately think the restraining order, but it's not just that.
No, it isn't. It's much more than that, and that's what's so important about New Jersey and New Jersey's law.
For instance?
In the first instance, the restraining order, when it's final, is indefinite. In many other jurisdictions, it only lasts for a certain period of time, and then the individual has to go back into court and prove that it's still necessary. We don't have that in New Jersey. The other thing that can happen in the course of obtaining a restraining order is that issues such as safe visitation arrangements and custody and child support, and if there are any damages, like medical expenses that the victim incurred or damage to her house, those can be obtained in the course of a restraining order. The reason why it's so important to know what your rights are before you go in.
And most of these women do not.
No, they don't. And there are many misconceptions out there, and abusers sometimes use that against them. One of the things that we see is a threat to take children away.
Hold on, I'm going to be clear. Some of these abusers not only are physically, mentally, and emotionally abusive, they will attempt to manipulate misinformation about the legal system and say, if you do this to one of these women who are on the end of being abused, if you do this or don't do that, I will get the children. I'm just saying that.
Yes,
which is just not true very often.
It's not true, and they may not know whether it's true or not. But
the woman.
Or the man.
Or the man, go ahead.
But it's a threat that is a very common threat. Children are often used as pawns in these situations. I mean, you only have to open up the paper to read about children who are murdered because a woman, their mother, wanted to leave an abusive relationship. It's not uncommon. And domestic violence is There's a lot of physical abuse associated with it, but it doesn't have to be physical. And the real theme in it is control, wanting to control another person's life, wanting to control the relationship with that person, not wanting that person to have a life of her own or make decisions on her own. And that's really what it's about. And so the ultimate control is taking children.
For the rest of us, Jane, who will often read about these cases too late, after the fact, when something horrific has happened, a woman, and even worse, her children have been killed. And we say, if only we had known, if only we could have, should have done something. What should we do? And I know it's case by case, and I know that's an unfair question in so many ways, but is there anything we could do other than contribute to an organization like yours, which helps support the work you're doing? Which, by the way, let's put up the website. I know Jackie Cook, our great producer, I know you'll have it up right now as we speak. By the way, where does that money go?
It goes to legal services for victims of domestic violence.
Do your lawyers get paid?
No.
Pro
I mean,
bono?
our staff attorneys get paid, but the pro bono attorneys in private practice don't get paid for taking our cases.
Do the legal firm, the law firm say, hey, take some time to do this?
Yes, so many of them are very supportive. The major law firms in the state are very supportive of our program.
Okay, I'll go back to my question. What else can we do?
I think that you need to be open to the possibility that abuse is going on. It happens across all ethnic groups, all economic groups, and just be there to support the individual and know that there are resources available. You can call 911 for police intervention. There's a domestic violence hotline nationwide that victims can call, and they'll be put in touch with local services.
Jane, do we push, because a lot of times these women are not confident that their confidence will be kept, the confidentiality. Do we attempt to push them in this direction to call your folks?
It's their decision ultimately. I think that
encourage?
I think what you can do is give them information and explain to them that there are resources out there that can help them, that can make a difference to them and their children, help them escape this abusive relationship, and they should at least talk to people about it. It's their decision ultimately, whether they flee and go into a shelter, whether they seek a restraining order, but they have to have the information to know what the right decision for them is. And it varies from individual to individual.
You just imagine the horrific and unimaginable abuse that these women, these children go through, but then to have the legal system not work on your behalf, it's hard to comprehend. So that the fact that your organization is doing this and trying to reach out as best you can is important. So Jackie, one more time, could we put up the website for any woman or anyone who knows a woman who you think needs help? Give that information out. Jane Hanson, Executive Director, Partners for Women in Justice. Please keep up the work you're doing and keep making a difference because the Berry Foundation did the right thing in recognizing you and your team. Thank you.
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me.
We'll be right back right after this.
One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been a production of the Caucus Educational Corporation, celebrating 25 years of broadcast excellence. Funding for this edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been provided by the Russell Berry Foundation, Caldwell College, the Fidelco Group, Fedway Associates, New Jersey Sharing Network, Kessler Foundation, and by the Healthcare Foundation of New Jersey, founded by the Jewish community. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been produced in partnership with St. Joseph's Healthcare System.